And there, Kenya made a decision that would change everything. She revealed something she had hidden for years. She said she was living with HIV. Not because she felt safe, but because inside that prison there was a place where people living with HIV were held. A place known by one number: Dormitory 10. Dormitory 10 was not just another prison area. It was a place of isolation, a place where people were sent because of a diagnosis, a place surrounded by fear, stigma, and silence. The other inmates were afraid of HIV. They believed myths. They avoided people from Dormitory 10. They treated them as if they had leprosy, as if they were already dead. Even inside prison, there was another prison, and Kenya was now inside it. But what she found there changed her forever. In Dormitory 10, Kenya saw people getting sick, people abandoned in terrible conditions, people without proper medical attention, people growing weaker while the system looked away. She saw inmates living with HIV being treated with cruelty, as if death was expected. Kenya would later describe those years as if people living with HIV in prison had been used like guinea pigs. Medication was given, but according to Kenya, many people became worse. Some inmates warned her not to take the pills. They had seen people die. And Kenya understood something terrifying. The same system that had imprisoned them was also failing to keep them alive. But Kenya did not turn away. She began to care for them. She watched over people who had been abandoned by everyone else. And then came a moment that changed her forever. One of the inmates became very ill. Kenya stayed with him. She held him. She tried to comfort him. But there was no proper medical help, no dignity. He died in her arms. That moment never left Kenya. It broke something inside her, but it also awakened something stronger. It became personal. It became a mission. And after seeing someone die in her arms, Kenya was never the same again. So inside that pain, Kenya began doing what no one had done for her as a child. She showed up, she cared, she stayed, she fought. And the same inmates who once mocked her began to respect her. They saw her standing beside people everyone else had abandoned. They saw her protect others. And in a place where everyone was fighting for themselves, Kenya became something different. A sister. She began asking questions. Why were people dying? Why did people living with HIV inside prison not have access to proper medical care? Kenya began speaking up. She helped make the situation public. She denounced what was happening. She pushed for people in Dormitory 10 to receive real medical attention. And eventually, the silence began to break. Health workers and organizations became involved. Clinica Condesa later entered the prison system with proper HIV care, medical follow-up, viral load testing and treatment. And Kenya became part of that change. Inside prison, she was trained as an HIV prevention promoter. For the first time, Kenya fully understood the diagnosis she had carried since she was 13. What HIV was, how it was transmitted, how it was not transmitted, how medication worked, how people could protect themselves, and how silence could be just as dangerous as the illness itself. The information no one had given her as a child was now in her hands. Kenya began helping organize HIV prevention inside the prison. She shared information. She helped with testing. She handed out condoms. She explained that HIV was not a death sentence. She explained that people living with HIV were not dirty. And little by little, the way people looked at her changed. They began to come to her for help, for advice. She was becoming a voice inside of prison. But while Kenya was helping others, her own case was still there, a sentence of 24 years hanging over her life. Inside prison, Kenya sold things, sweets, small items. During visiting days, she moved through the visitor area. She spoke to people. She made herself known. And one day, while selling and talking in the visiting area, she asked someone for a favor. That someone was a lawyer, and her case began to be reviewed. And after 10 years, 8 months and 7 days behind bars, Kenya was told she would finally leave prison. She had been sentenced to 24 years, but she would walk out in 2010. For anyone else, that moment might have felt like pure joy. But for Kenya, freedom was not simple. Because prison had not only been punishment, it had also become the place where she found purpose, and the place where the sick, the rejected, and the forgotten became something close to family. And when she stepped back into the outside world, freedom did not look like freedom. There was no welcome waiting for her, no stable home, no money, no support system. After more than 10 years behind bars, Kenya returned to a city that had moved on without her.